Je voudrais le cappuccino,
Oui,
baguette,
oui,
omelette.
oui. Quel type?
You'll never guess where I am. Studies show that people tend to learn better when they get a brief overview of the upcoming curriculum. And so the purpose of today's video isn't for me to explain how anything works technically, but rather I'm going to be listing out the major components of a vehicle, the things that we're going to be discussing in upcoming videos. Really, there are only about 5 or 6 major components of a car, and then there are a few support systems. We're going to go through that list, and we're also going to visit some major tourist landmarks in Paris because I'm on vacation in Paris and I want to see the city. Bonjour. A chassis is an important component. The chassis is like the skeleton or the frame of the vehicle upon which everything else is bolted onto. It is the structural foundation upon which the car is built. Trucks tend to have body-on-frame chassis that are very heavy-duty and good for carrying heavy loads, but they tend to deliver rattly, uncomfortable rides, whereas luxury cars have unibody chassis that are designed to absorb vibration and return cushy, comfortable rides. Sports cars tend to have really stiff chassis that are really good at helping a car go around corners quickly, but at the same time they're not great at absorbing vibration and returning a smooth ride. It's the Eiffel Tower. An engine is the big metal thing underneath the hood of a car, and it provides the power that makes the wheels of the car turn. It's the powerful engines are found in sports cars and big trucks because they need that power to either pull things, or move the car quickly, whereas small engines that waste very little fuel are found in economy cars like the Toyota Corolla or the Honda Civic. A transmission is like the gears on a bicycle, and it helps the engine transfer power efficiently to the rear wheels. This, again, is the Eiffel Tower. This is where Napoleon went to school, and this is a protest that's about to start, and I'd like to hurry up and get out of here. Bonjour. There's also the differential, which is like a pumpkin-shaped thing, which helps the wheels of a car spin at different speeds. And there are axles, which come out of the differential, and those are the things that the wheels are connected to. The transmission, the differential, and the axles all work together to help the wheels of the car spin efficiently. This, by the way, is the Pantheon. All of the different parts in a car that are involved in making the wheels of the car spin are considered part of the drivetrain. So the transmission, connected to the engine, connected to the differential, connected to the axles, all of those are parts of the drivetrain. And different sorts of vehicles have different drivetrain configurations. So a front-wheel drive car versus a rear-wheel drive versus an all-wheel drive or a four-wheel drive car will have different driving characteristics. And this is Notre Dame. The suspension is a big one. So remember the chassis that we talked about? All this stuff, the motor, the doors, your seats, all of that stuff isn't bolted directly onto the wheels because that would make for a very uncomfortable ride. Instead, the wheels and the chassis are separated by a series of springs and shock absorbers that dampen the ride and make it much more comfortable. The springs, the shock absorbers, and all of the additional components that are involved in helping dampen a car's ride and make it more comfortable are considered part of the suspension. Different sorts of vehicles have different sorts of suspensions. Trucks have live axles, for example, that are very heavy duty. but equate to rattly, kind of uncomfortable rides. Luxury cars tend to have independent suspensions that are cushy and nice over bumps, whereas sports cars have independent suspensions that are set up to be nice and stiff that help a car get around corners very quickly, but aren't very good at absorbing bumps. Different types of suspensions will determine the feel of a car and the purpose of a car. Also, this is Pont Neuf, the oldest standing bridge in Paris. Pretty cool. A car's brakes are all the components that are involved in helping slow a car down. You probably know what a car's brakes are. There are different types of brakes, disc brakes, drum brakes. Brakes are relatively easy to understand and easy to teach, so I'm looking forward to those episodes. This is the Louvre, by the way. Car's electrical system is a big one. A lot of the components inside of a vehicle run on electricity, and there's a system set up to ensure that those components get the electricity that they need. That's the Louvre again. The car's cooling system helps keep the engine and transmission from overheating, and we'll talk about all the components involved in that, such as the radiator and fans and hoses. This is Paris's oldest state-run theater, which is interesting. The car's safety system is comprised of airbags and sensors, and even the car's chassis plays an important role. We'll talk about all the components involved in keeping the occupants of a car safe. Also, this is the Royal Palace. There are vehicle HVAC systems, so the heating and air conditioning systems, we'll talk about how those work. And then of course there is the pollution control system, so the exhaust pipe, catalytic converters, and all the filters involved in that. And of course this is the Arc de Triomphe. Finally, there are vehicle interiors, so the seats, the steering wheel, all of the comfort features that make a car feel the way that it feels inside, and vehicle exteriors, so the bumper, the door panels, the paint, all of the things that make a car look the way it looks on the outside. This is the famous Champs-Élysées, and if you're a fan of bicycle races, this is the final stage of the Tour de France, and I think this is the perfect time to end this video. Not so fast, buddy. I forgot to mention a couple things. Steering systems are all the components that are involved in helping turn the wheels of a vehicle. Most modern cars use what's called a rack and pinion type of steering. Some big trucks and luxury vehicles use what's called a recirculating ball type of steering. Some modern cars also have electric steering systems. Some performance cars have all-wheel steering or four-wheel steering systems in which the rear wheels turn in addition to the front wheels. And steering systems make a lot of difference with regards to performance, handling, turning radius, comfort. And then there are wheels and tires. Tires make a big difference to a vehicle's ride quality, handling, performance, stopping power, acceleration. Narrow tires made out of a harder rubber compound, winter tires, are very good for snow driving, whereas wider tires made out of a softer rubber compound that's good at gripping asphalt is good for summer driving. In terms of wheels, the lighter the material of the wheels, the better a car will typically handle. So magnesium wheels are very lightweight but very expensive, whereas steel wheels are very cheap, but they don't help a car handle as well as magnesium wheels might. And this is my kitchen. How many components was that? Leave a comment below. If you want to learn more about cars, how they foundationally work, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's go back to Paris. And I will see you next time.